There's a lot to look at in this photographic business, all right? And we'll be going into some depth about the challenges that Alexis and Angelo are facing in their business. So don't go away. Welcome back to It's My Biz, the big show for small business. And this week's show is a snapshot of a professional photographic equipment company called Glow Photographic. With us in the Biz Beam is Chief Operating Officer Angelo Fotiadis. Welcome back, Angelo.
Nice to be back.
Our panel of Biz Whizzes, Francis Wright, Thane Niman, and Mike Said. Right, gang, we're going to get straight into it. Let's talk about this business. Maybe I should start with you, Angelo. Where is Alexis?
He's too busy to be here. He's running around trying to do everything.
Mike, something needs to be done here.
Absolutely. Typical small business in having its growing pains. Currently, you're in the founder's trap. The founder is the brand. The founder is the business. We need to find ways to transfer that. And one of those ways, for example, is to set up a blog, set up Facebook and social media platforms for you.
Do we do it ourselves? Because I do believe there's specific people who, that's what their profession is. They handle the whole social media aspect of it.
In the beginning, you and Alexis will be involved. That's how knowledge will be transferred. After a while, you can always call in a professional if you need one.
Francis, sounds like some succession planning needs to happen.
Absolutely. It's not just about the brand. It's about the knowledge that needs to be transferred. Angelo was brought in as a business expert, but he doesn't have the photographic knowledge. What needs to happen is either the knowledge needs to be transferred to Angelo or a photographer has to be appointed.
Angelo, you need to be about a lot more than just making the money.
That's absolutely right, but I certainly don't have the time to go and learn all that experience. So I think we understand that we need to bring someone in, or somehow we have to find the systems and procedures to transfer that knowledge.
I think you need more procedures than people in the beginning, but procedures need to be written down, documented, so that anybody can read what needs to be done next in your process of managing your financial risk and your human resources and your recruitment.
I know you like to say two is always a much better number than one.
If you appoint one person and that person, something leaves you or something happens to that person, you're back to square one. So I like to have two people, so in the event of someone leaving, at least you've got a backup.
It's very clear that in this particular business, all the expertise is held in Alexis.
What happens if he passes away? There is a thing called key man insurance, which can help the company overcome that difficulty in that period.
Thane makes a good point, and linking up with Francis, in terms of the system and procedures, I think we're aware that the business needs it.
Yeah.
I think we're getting a bit lost in trying to get to do all the systems and procedures.
The first thing is to develop a price to payment process. So from when the client asks for a quote, you will extract the activities and map on paper exactly everything that needs to be done until that client brings the equipment back. That's not the only process, though. You need to also follow that process of developing processes through to your HR, to your quality control, to your technology, your supply chain.
Can I include financial risk, Francis?
Absolutely, yeah.
Your terms and conditions of your rental agreement also need to be tightened up, Angela. They're very loose. For example, there's not even a mention of a domicilium citandi et executandi in that agreement.
I have no idea what he just said.
Domicilium is a physical address at which you can issue summons or legal process to the people that don't actually pay you. So from that point of view, your financial risk needs to be tightened up. Why don't you take a deposit? You know, deposit is one of the ways of reducing your financial risk. The process that Francis talks about is fantastic, but the day after your due date, and you haven't been paid, someone needs to phone that customer.
You're not taking a deposit?
We're not, and it isn't a point of we don't want to. The industry seems to have developed in a way that it's quite loose that way.
You know, if you can perhaps get the person that's removing that very expensive equipment to stand jointly and severally liable with a close corporation or company or agency that rents your equipment from you. You don't even do a credit check, a reference. You need to get at least 2 references to make sure that the person that you're renting to is able to pay your bill.
Let's talk about how they've just moved into a brand new place. It's stark white, but it's not quite what you had in mind, is it?
No, not at all. I think the point is we've just moved in there and you can still smell the paint. I mean, there's a plan, and again, it's about getting there, it's about cash flow.
They need to brighten up that entrance. I'm not sure exactly what you want to put in there. You all have your own ideas, something to look at, something to talk about, build conversation capital. It's all part of the image. Another part of your image is your website at the moment. It's been built in Flash. Now, everyone knows I'm not a great Flash fan, and that's for a particular reason. For one thing, it can't be indexed by any of the search engines. It's very difficult and expensive for you to change. My suggestion is that you guys get stuck into that website as soon as possible. Put in a content management system that's easy to index and easy for you to control.
It sounds like a lot to do as well, but I think those are points we hadn't seen.
Francis, back to the importance of processes.
The main one, I think, is standardization. Only when there's processes, you can grow the business. Because as you have more staff, you can give them a business in a box, a process that they can follow, and immediately they know how and what to do.
And it frees you, Angelo, to do what you really need to be doing in this business.
I do feel we're being sucked into the day-to-day running of the business on the ground. I think we do understand the need for systems and procedures. How we get there, I don't know. How do you follow through with implementation?
Just sit and list all the activities that you want everybody to take in the company. Once you've listed it, that's the extraction of your activities. Then you map it. Just draw it on a piece of paper with arrows to get the flow of the work correct. And then the trick is to train the staff and do a workshop with them, and you'll be surprised sometimes what wisdoms comes out of them.
Thane, as these processes get mapped, it's really the intellectual capital that is currently in Alexis' head that's going to need to be passed on to staff that are brought on as he divests his responsibilities.
Big consideration when you have processes and procedures is that you are giving away that knowledge, and you need to protect that knowledge. Now, what Angelo and Alexis have done very well is in their employment contracts, they've got a restraint of trade, which prevents someone from going out and entering into competition with Glow Photographic.
Tell us about diversification, what this business needs to think about in terms of that.
I have one piece of advice for every entrepreneur that wants to diversify. Don't.
Whoa.
You have to keep your focus. Unless you've got an incredible strength behind the business, you don't diversify.
Mike looks like he disagrees.
In this case, these guys have come up with something quite incredible. It's called the photo booth. They've taken all their knowledge, the existing equipment, and they've built a studio that they bring to your event. This is how you grow your business without going out on a tangent.
Okay.
There are a few things I'd like to see changed in the photo booth. I'd like to see it branded a bit better, maybe a cover on it, but on the whole, I think it's a fantastic concept.
I think we're aware that diversification has its dangers if we do it too fast and too varied. I think we're going to limit it to one or two areas which is within what we do.
There's two types of diversification. There's related diversification and unrelated. Unrelated, leave to the big corporates.
Okay.
Related diversification you can live with, but then you need to make sure that you've already saturated the market that you're in. I know that Angelo thinks they have. I disagree. There's PR markets, there's the ad agencies, events companies.
So the diversification is on two fronts at the moment. The original business and the core business being the rental. You've moved now into the photo booth concept and also into a studio. Are these great ideas, Mike?
Absolutely. You have the premises, you've built a studio, you can package these together. Rental with studio time, great package. Another thing, you've got this photo booth. I see fantastic opportunity for it. Take it to schools, underprivileged children. Let them use it for their proms, for anything. That's fantastic media for you.
A lot to think about. Now, we all know that behind everything we do here on It's My Biz stand the amazing people who make things happen. I'm talking about Nedbank. And now it's time to hear some truly valuable entrepreneurial advice in our Nedbank Biz Tips, the weekly slot where Sibongiseni Ngunze of Nedbank passes on some real biz wisdom. But there's another reason that you really need to take a listen to this if you're an entrepreneur. That's right, it's because it's time for our competition. We've got a